Howdy again, everyone. Well, here's the tender hand pump. It's not installed yet, but it's in this general location where I believe I'm going to put it. I'm using my little art fuzzy pipe cleanery things to mock up where the lines would go through the baffle and into that fitting there. What I have, if you recall from an earlier video I did on the tender, I had actually epoxied in using the POR 15 stuff. I'd epoxied in a drain fitting into the bottom of the tender, which is 1/8 inch male pipe thread in the inside of it and a 1/4 inch male on the outside. So the idea I've got is I took the drain off and I could use these fittings here. The 1/4 inch male would go in this 1/4 inch female. Little T-fitting here, I could put a plug in the back so I'd still have a drain feature, and then this line could connect forward to a T-fitting that is located up here by the bypass valve. And so the water line would come in here. If the bypass valve is closed, then it could not come up into the tender, and the water from the hand pump would go up to the boiler check valve on the locomotive. Conversely, if I'm not using it, if I'm running, not using the tender hand pump, and I want the axle pump to fill the boiler, I would keep the bypass valve closed like normal. Now water would come here. It wouldn't be allowed to come up and into the tender. It would back up, presumably through this line, and back up to press the balls down on the outlets of the tender hand pump. So the back pressure would build hopefully quickly, and then it would overcome, go into the boiler that way. If I didn't want the axle pump to work and fill the boiler, then I would open the valve and then water would come up through the valve. I hope that makes sense. Fred, Pete, Chuck, anybody, if you think I've got it wrong, let me know. That's one of the beauties of doing this video, this process. Another thing I thought I'd show is, years ago when I built the tender, I built an extra valve so I can show you what they look like. This is the Allen valve that I have two of them. One's here, that's the bypass valve, and the other one is on the other side over there, and it will be the water valve for the injector. But as you can see, it's hollow in the center, of course. It's 1/8 inch pipe in the bottom, and so what I'm talking about is it would be, this T-fitting would be screwed in to the bottom of the this pump, this valve, the valve on this side over here. And when I say water comes back, it could come up, this will be open, and the water could come through here and go back into the tender. So hope that makes sense to you all, and I'm glad I built the spare. Speaking of building stuff, I had an interesting conversation with a gentleman tonight who watches my videos, and we were talking about different types of machinery and sizes, and I got to reflecting on it, and I built this tender probably 10 or 12 years ago. I'll look it up and tell you exactly, but all I had at the time was my home-built milling machine that I made out of a Shopsmith Model 10 ER, and I had the Lathe Master 8x14 lathe. That's all I had, and I was able to produce this with a lot of guidance and help from Fred and a lot of patience. But it came out really nice, and if you have decent equipment and patience and good instruction, you can make some good stuff. So just thought I'd share that observation with you and this update about where I am. If you're interested in the project overall, the next steps, work on this. I enjoy making the piping fittings, so I guess that's why I'm playing with this. I'll be working on making fittings and making the connections and installing the hand pump, and I'll definitely do videos on that. The other main thing is, you can see I've got an old shower curtain on top of the locomotive over there just to keep dust and critters off of it, but I want to work on the water supply, the axle pump. I've taken the front truck out of the way. Let me see if I can zoom in. There you go. The front truck is sitting on the workbench, so pilot truck, I should say. So I'm going to play with the axle pump some more, see if I can't make sure that that's working perfectly, and then fiddle with the connections for the injector. And we'll have our water supply figured out for the locomotive. And I'll thank you all for watching, and I will keep you posted.